welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Ifeoluwa Akinpelu. You can call me the Lady Ife. And to all my returning subscribers, thank you so much for coming. We are increasing day by day. If you like any of my videos or has been a blessing to you in one way or the other, please make sure that you share this channel link with your friend and any other person you think that will love what I'm doing here. So I feel about faith, femininity, family and lifestyle. And today is just like story time, brand time, or whatever you want to call it. I'll be sharing my experience in Nigerian police. Where do we even start from? So this fateful day around 10 a.m. I was in my house, in my living room. I was working, and I just heard bang 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 by the door. I'm like, who is that? And the thing is, if I hear any knock, I will react as if I did not hear, because we don't receive impromptu visitors. You have to call before coming. If not, nobody will open the gate for you. You just keep knocking, and that will be the end of your visit. You will go back home. So as I heard the banging of the door, I was like, who could this be? This person is beating the door with so much audacity. Could it be the caretaker? Do we have any issues or whatever it is? So I was not so well dressed, so I went into the room and I tried to dress up. So while I was in the room, I noticed that like 2 or 3 other men passed behind my window and they went around the house. So I was like, okay, maybe it's the caretaker. He brought somebody to come and fix one thing or the other in the house. So I dressed up and I went out. So I opened the door. I just saw a man. It was a strange looking man. I'm like, who is this person? I'm not familiar with this person. So I just opened the door a little bit and I was looking at him like, this face is not familiar, so who are you? And he just said, yeah, this is Nigerian Police Force, we are from so districts, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, okay. And my head was calculating like 1001 things. I was just like, am I okay? Is my husband safe? Did he do anything wrong? I'm like, no, my husband not doing anything wrong. Let me open the door. I just said, okay, so how can I help you? They're like, okay, they came to search the house. I'm like, you came to search this house for what? For who? He said, are you living alone? I said, I live with my neighbors. One is not around. The other person, in fact, literally all of our husbands were not home. It was just myself and the spouse of the other neighbor that was around. So I was like, everybody's not home, but I'm home alone. He said, okay, so who do you live with? How many of you stay here? I said, we are 2. I stay with my husband. And I was like, okay, where's your husband? I said, my husband, he's not around. He's going to work. Where does he work? I'm like, why all these questions? And this men, they were like six or 7. One lady, about maybe 5 or 6 men followed. And 3 of them were in uniform. The rest of them were in mufti. The ones in uniform were scattered all around the house. They were not close. So I was wondering that what are these people looking for? So he said, okay, we had some information and we came to search your house. I'm like, what information did you hear? She was like, okay, that they were looking for criminals or something. So I'm like, I don't get, they're criminal in this house or something. But like, okay, we have to be sure that there is nobody else in this house with you and you're telling the truth that your husband is not home. I'm like, okay, come in and search if you see my husband. But then I was like, wait, did I just tell them to come in and search? So I just asked for their search warrant. And she showed me something. She said, okay, this is a search warrant, and all that was there was just blah 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 blah. There was no address specifying that they were supposed to come to our house. And it was not like my husband's name was written on it that they were in search of social person. So those 2 places were blank. But I knew where they were from. So I'm like, I was skeptical. But the man at the door, that man can be so intimidating. He's huge. And he was giving intimidating looks. And in fact, if not that I tried shutting the door behind him, he would have entered without my permission. And I'm like, no, you don't do things that way. Let me just open the door for you. So they said, okay, the lady and Miss them should come inside and check. So the lady came inside. I tried closing the door so that nobody was going to come inside behind me. And the man I think he knew what I was trying to do, so he just made sure that the door was a bit open. So the woman searched the house. She was like, okay, are you sure nobody's in this house? I said, nobody's there. From bedroom to restroom to everywhere, check. They checked everything and they didn't see anybody. So at the end of the day, the woman just said, hey, hope you are not embarrassed. I said, I feel embarrassed. How will you just barge into my house, eating the door anyhow, and they are telling me that you are looking for criminal? I said, oh, madam, we are sorry. It's just that we had some information that some criminals are around this area, so we've been going from house to house. I'm like, really? Really? I said, that's very embarrassing, I must say. So the woman just apologized and they left. So they went to my neighbor's flat. While the woman was still in the house searching, I heard another bang of the door. That was the second exit of, that was the kitchen exit. I heard another bang of the door. And I was wondering that who could that be? And the kitchen door was not locked. So I heard the person open the door and I'm like, why are you doing this? And I didn't lock the kitchen door that day because I was literally still around the kitchen area, around the living room, around the kitchen doing one or two things. So I'm like, why do you have to do this? And it's just so unreasonable. He shut the door and left. So after the woman had apologized for everything that happened, they went to my neighbor's place and I was still trying to look around if everything was safe. You are smelling drugs, you smell alcohol, are you supposed to be taking drugs? So I was scared for her that this lady is the only lady at home. I hope they don't harm her. So I shut my own door and I went to her flat immediately. So I stayed outside and I watched them interacting. So apparently my neighbor was accusing the man that I said looked intimidating, that why is he sweating and smelling alcohol? Why is he smelling like this? That is this police officer? Is he supposed to be doing that? And stuff like that. So at the end of the day, I was scared that so that they should not go and do anything bad to this lady. And also they left her and they just said they wanted to search the house. They searched the house, they found nothing. And my neighbor was like, you can come back, or if it's somebody you're really looking for, he can come back, they will be around to so time on so day. So, and that was how they left. So I just sat down with my neighbor and we were talking that what kind of harassment is that. She was now sharing her experience with me that she's used to police coming when she was in school, you know, all these school runs and all like that. How they're always looking for internet fraudsters like that. So I said, okay, it's fine. So after the day, we were still gisting, not even after the day yet. That was when my husband just walked in from the gym that morning. And I'm like, oh, yeah, quite early that. Would you believe our police just left here? They came to search the house and everything. And my husband was like, why didn't you call me? And I'm like, oh, really? At that point, I realized that the way a woman actually handles things and the way a man handles things, they are different. So look at what my husband did. My husband came in and we narrated the whole issue to him. And from there, my husband was like, that's not right. What if they are not policemen? What if they are thieves? What if they came to scout the house? The fact that they are in uniform does not even mean that they are policemen. I should have asked for their ID card. And I wasn't even thinking it that way. Because my mind was not just there. I knew that yes, I was supposed to ask for the ID card, but my mind was not just there. So it was like, should have asked for the ID card, should have questioned them, they shouldn't have entered the house, they should have done this, they should have done that. So my husband started making calls. While the process was still going on, I think I got a call from my dad. So I just gisted my dad and told my dad that this is what happened. My dad was like, you were not supposed to allow them enter. Why did you even pick up my call? You should have told them that your daddy is this, your daddy is that. I said, this man have come again. So it was just more like that. I cannot trust them, that there are times that people just come to scout the environment, the house like that because they want to come and rob you. So you really cannot tell if they are really from Nigerian Police Force that they claim to be from. And my husband called lawyer, called one or two people, called the rest of our neighbors that were not home. That so those things happen, blah 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 blah. And lawyers just advised us that we should get to the root of the matter. So we called. My husband told me to dress up that we are going to the police station. That station they said they were from, that will go there to make inquiries or to file a report according to the counsels that we got from the lawyers. So I dressed up hoping that we'll go. So while my husband was still making call, then my neighbor said that our landlady is a retired police officer. So I'm like, oh, I didn't even know that about her. That okay, it's fine. Let's just call her. So my husband called the landlady. And she said she was going to get to the root of the matter. So we're still trying to make inquiries. Okay, where do we go to? Let's go to this place. Let's go to that place. Let's file a report so that in case anything happens, we will know the exact thing to do. But before that, myself, my husband, and my neighbor, we already went around the house. So we had to search all around the house and be sure that there was nothing that can implicate us. And that was what we did. And we're safe. So later on, they reached out to our landlady and she was able to tell us that okay, they actually came from the station and they were saying they didn't know it's a house and all like that they are actually safe, that they are policemen and they came to search that there were some policies or something, a new boss and all those stuffs, and that is why they were just doing random search, that we should not worry, that we are safe. And even a lady knew nothing about the matter would have gone to the police station that day to file a report and to see if we would actually see any of them that came around, so that we can say that okay, these are the people that came to our house. So I've just realized that some of the lessons that this thing just taught me is, it just brought my understanding that okay, when you see police people like that, don't be intimidated. Like, I salute my neighbor's courage. I'm just like, why are you saying this? Don't be intimidated. Ask for their ID card, ask for search warrant, ask for anything that you need to ask. And in fact, in some cases, you might have to call your lawyer immediately, or let anybody that can help you be aware of the situation. I was just amazed when my husband came and he started making calls looking for solution, as if there was a huge problem. Of course, I get his perspective. Like, I thought I had handled this matter well until Baba came and things took a new turn. That's my experience, my recent experience with Nigerian police. I just came here to share them with you, and I hope that in case you have them come around you, you know the next thing to do also. Thank you so much for listening to this story, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.